Okay, so let's just be honest. A big part of college is parties. So you clicked on this video because you want to know what parties are going to be like in college. And I have all the answers. I'm kidding, not all the answers, but I do have some advice for you. So there is actually a little twist to this. The advice I will be sharing with you is actually pre-recorded with a friend of mine. Her name is Jordan. She has gone to 3 different colleges and she is very familiar with the party scene, where I have only gone to 2 different colleges and most of the time I have been at a Christian college, so I haven't done as much partying and stuff like that. So I brought her with me and had her give you guys more of the advice of what it looks like and what the party scene is and all of that. Now, the video is actually part of this college guide I created. In this guide, we talk literally about everything you need to know about college. So this one video is actually a part of the guide, and I'm sharing this part of the guide pretty much for free to you, so you would have a better idea of what to expect when you go to college parties. So without further ado, we're just going to hop right into the video. Alright, so in this video, we're going to be talking about parties in college, and I have my friend Jordan with me for this section. Jordan is like literally one of my greatest friends, love her, and I will be honest, partying is not something I've done in college. It is just not something that I am very familiar with, and so I thought I'd bring my friend Jordan in here and I will ask her some questions. She's an awesome person. She like doesn't party a lot anymore, but she has in the past, and I just want to give you guys just like a realistic advice of what parties look like. I don't want to just give you another advice like our parents did, like don't do drugs and don't drink and it's bad for you, blah blah blah. Like, you're probably gonna be around it, and I just want you to have as much of a realistic idea of what it is as possible. So we're gonna ask Jordan some questions and we'll go from there. So first of all, do you want to like introduce yourself and like your background?
Sure.
And all of that first.
Hi guys, so I'm Jordan. I met Karis here at LCU, and she's also one of my besties. But I've been to 2 colleges prior to this one. I started at a community college. I was there for 2 years, and then I was at another school, a university last year. It was D3. And then here I am at LCU. I started my first 2 years, and that was an everyday thing almost. Like, we had Thirsty Thursdays. We had, the whole weekend was filled with drinking. You would even drink before you'd go to class. Like,
Seriously?
yeah.
Wow.
You were exposed, like, at my community college, there was nobody watching you. You had your own apartment. There was no security.
So you guys didn't have to live in a dorm?
No.
Okay.
Nope. It was just free reign. You literally were in charge of yourself. It was like going from 18, you know, being told what to do by your parents and kind of having curfews, and to literally having no boundaries. You could do anything you wanted to do. So of course, there's a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds all in these apartments. Like, you know, you're gonna be exposed to those kind of things. And that's actually a natural thing going to community colleges, is there's not gonna be a ton of security or people watching out for you. So that's important to remember if you are, you know, worried about like being out on your own. Like, you're not gonna have people looking out for you. Community college is more so you kind of take on things by yourself.
Yeah, whereas like I've only had a 4-year college experience, so like there was dorms that all freshmen had to stay in, and there were RAs that were like regulating to make sure there's like not too many parties going on. And although there were still parties, there was definitely people watching out after you still.
Yeah, and most of them are like dry campuses too. Like in the dorms, like you're not allowed to have alcohol or smoke or whatever it is that you could, you know, see. But at the community college I was at, it was an apartment. Like, nobody was in charge of you, so it was a completely different story. So those first 2 years, I saw it all basically. You know, we would go to our parties. I would host a party in my room basically every week, and probably 30 to 40 people would come, and we would all be packed in one room together. And there was a ton of drinking. People would get blackout drunk. I was one of those people. And it was just kind of a lot.
What first like got you into partying? Like what was your first experience of like saying, oh, I want to party? Was it something that people just like invited you to? Did you go to college and be like, I'm ready to party it up?
Yeah, I knew as soon as I graduated high school that I was going to be on my own and I wanted to experience the party life. I didn't have a ton of like morals stopping me. I just wanted to like have fun. That was what was driving me, and I wanted to have a lot of friends, and I thought that the party lifestyle kind of like drew me.
Did you get a lot of friends through it?
You get your party friends, you get people who want to like drink all the time, but I would say those kind of friends are almost different than friends that
like the friendship we have probably.
Yeah,
because
like,
I've gotten to know you like
super well.
Not intoxicated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, the people that you drink with, that's all you get together for. They don't want to hear about the other stuff for the most part. So, that kind of just drew me in. It was the lifestyle at the college I went to. Everybody did it, so it was like,
well, it was hard for you not to go into it.
It was like, I'm doing that then. And so, I would get drunk all the time. I would, especially my freshman year, I would get super drunk. You know, going to a party, that's what was normalized, and that's what is normalized. Going anywhere, it's like, get as intoxicated as you possibly can. Now, a couple of things that, you know, you should think about if you are exposed to this kind of lifestyle, or if you're going to community college, you're going to a university, you know, obviously you're gonna have the option to drink. You're underage even, you're gonna have the option. It's so, you know, easy to get away with it. My tips for you is, I guess, if you do choose to drink, be aware of how much you drink. Because the times where I wasn't aware and I just wanted to get as drunk as I possibly could, those were the nights where decisions were made that I wouldn't have made if I were sober or more sober. It's so much easier to say yes to things that you wouldn't say yes to. And, you know, those decisions can follow you for the rest of your life. Whatever you might say yes to one night because you're so drunk. So if you are going to drink, just be aware of that.
Speaking on like that, the whole safety aspect of it, I know like whenever we would have people come at school and speak to us, they'd be like, oh, in college people are gonna like hand you a drink and you need to be careful like what you accept, and like they make it sound very dramatic and stuff. Like, is it that dramatic? Like, do you know like people are like gonna put things in your drinks and stuff like that? Like, what's that seem like?
Sure. When you're with a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds, our community college, it was not a thing to like get drinks from other people. Everybody brought their own drinks. It wasn't like a bar setting where you might experience like somebody wanting to buy something for you. Okay. I think it's probably different with every college. Bars are different than being like in your dorm room partying with people. So I don't think that's something that necessarily you have to worry about. But one thing, now going off of drinking, you will have to worry about being offered drugs. Like, people will offer you drugs.
So it's not just drinking that's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
People will offer you all kinds of drugs. Weed is like the main one that is very normalized, especially if it's legal in your state. But even if it's not, like, that is just such a normal thing to do at college, and that's such a social thing to do. So there are blunts being passed around like everywhere, or people are popping things like acid or Molly.
What was like your first experience when that was offered? Like, was that offered to you like when you were first a freshman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they kind of like, all your friends are just kind of like, yeah, this is really cool, like, it's fun and it'll make you feel like this or this, and it seems like it's really cool. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, like, it's not cool because of, you know, the side effects, like there are medical side effects of it, but like drugs are pleasure filled, and so it's,
that's why people do it.
yeah, it's easy to like want to do those things, or like to want to try them or whatever. And I obviously can't say, hey, like don't do it, because I'm not your mom and I'm not, you're gonna make the decisions for you. But I just watched a lot of my friends take those drugs, like acid for instance, and have like a horrible trip. And the next day or the next couple of weeks, they were just freaked out. And so I just say, do be aware if you are, you know, around people who are on drugs, or you're not gonna see anybody shooting up meth or like heroin or crack like that. Those kind of drugs are not typically like seen in college. You might see cocaine, honestly. You might see people talking about popping Adderall or smoking weed, or Molly.
What do you say to the people that will be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna try it, but I won't get addicted? But they just want to try it just to see what it feels like. Do you think it's possible to just try it and not want it more and more and more? Or
I think that's a really hard question, because once you do try it, they're fun. Like they're addicting, and like they're a social thing. And so it's so easy to keep going back to them, because you're gonna be surrounded by parties almost every week, sometimes every day, like depends, but I was like surrounded by parties every day. And so it's hard not to want to do those things every day then. And then it starts to become a habit, and you start spending a lot of money on it, and it starts kind of becoming a priority in your life. Personally, I experienced that with weed. I never tried some of the more intense drugs like Molly or acid that some of my like friends had tried, or cocaine. I'd never tried that either, but I was very addicted to weed. I didn't think I was addicted, but like it became such a social habit for me that I had to do it every day. And I started just by smoking, like not even a full blunt. I smoked maybe like a couple puffs, and then I was like, yeah. And from my freshman year, I started just by smoking a couple puffs, and by the end of my freshman year, I was smoking probably like 6 to 8 blunts a day.
was it hard for you to quit?
I quit probably in the middle of my sophomore year. Haven't done it since. And it was hard, because that's the way I made a lot of my friends. It was like, hey, want to smoke a blunt? Hey, want to match? Which is when they have a blunt, you have a blunt, you smoke them both together. And so it's just hard not to want to do those things, because it, you know, weed makes you relaxed, and it gives you this feeling of like bliss. For the most part.
When you quit smoking, did your friends still want to be friends with you? Like they were okay with that?
Honestly,
like, how did they handle it?
Friend group changed a lot when I stopped smoking. Like there are still some friends that I talk to, because I became friends with them through smoking, but like there's only 3 of them, and the rest of them, I don't even talk to any of those people anymore. Just because it was just our social thing that we did, you know. I'm not gonna once again tell you that you can't do drugs. Like I hope that you don't, because there are a lot of consequences that can come out of doing drugs, getting addicted, getting, you know, hurt, the possibility of maybe even death if you overdose or you're intoxicated and doing drugs. There are a lot of things that are truthfully that can go wrong with them, but I mean, I can't tell you not to. And so if you do try weed, let's say, you know, just be aware that it might experience panic attacks or panic. I know a lot of girls experience that, and so just be aware of that feeling if you do try it, because it can happen.
Do you think you can still have fun in college if you don't do those things? Like, is it still possible, or do you think it's just like more fun to go through college? When you're drinking?
When I was drinking and smoking all the time, I started college like fairly happy because I was like, yes, I am doing exactly what I want to do. Drinking and smoking, yeah. And then by the end of my freshman year, starting my sophomore year, I was highly depressed. I was on antidepressants. I was also experienced a ton of anxiety attacks. I think it could have been for multiple reasons. Maybe smoking weed was one of them. I don't know the pinpoint of it all, but I was on a couple different medications because I was very depressed. Pleasure only lasts so long, and so when you do these pleasurable things all the time, it gets boring and it's not that fun anymore. And then you start to, you know, question a lot about yourself. And that's kind of what I was doing. I was like, am I really doing this for the right reasons? Like, why am I doing this? And so ultimately it's fun, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna deny that partying isn't fun, but at the end of the day, this school, the one where I'm not drinking or smoking and I've been clean for a super long time, is the best experience I've had so far. And it's because I've gotten to know who I personally am deep down.
You're not trying to like fill a void by partying.
No, exactly. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. I figured out who I am, and I have found like some of the best friends that I'm ever gonna have in my life, and I've gotten to know their heart and who they really are. And like, I could have probably experienced that at my other colleges, but I was so worried about having fun that I didn't find myself and that I didn't get to know others on this deep, deep level. And so, yeah, I would choose this route any day, especially now that I've experienced both. But I mean,
well, thank you for sharing that with us. I hope you guys just, you know, learn from what she's saying. I know, again, like when we're younger, we kind of want to do whatever we want and have fun, and we're not here to be your moms and tell you don't do this. I just wanted Jordan to give you just like a realistic explanation of what that life is like. And if you do choose again to go to party stuff, please be safe. Don't ever feel like that's gonna be the only way you're gonna have fun in college. And if you get into that route and you want to change the direction of your life, like, you can do it. You don't have to stick with that group of friends. You just heard Jordan's story. She could have easily just continued down that route, but she decided to make a change. And so don't ever think you're like too far gone just because you went to a few parties your freshman year. Like, it's okay. Like, you can change your life decisions later on. But I hope that helps. So that is all for you. I hope you found that video helpful. And again, if you are interested in just learning more about like what to expect when you go to college, I do really recommend you checking out the guide. I have like 35 videos and 27 PDFs and 2 bonus topics covered in that guide alone. So seriously, everything you need to know before college is covered in that guide. So if you're interested in the guide, the link will be in the description down below. But for now, that's all I got for you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Follow me over on Instagram and TikTok. And until next time, bye.